Hey everyone, it's Shelby here. Welcome back to A Little Literary Love. I'm glad you're with me today because today's video, I have another recommendations video for you. But this time I thought I would do when I could potentially turn this into a series, if you like this, is giving you Kindle Unlimited book recommendations, because I know a lot of people use Kindle Unlimited and are looking for more books to pick up on Kindle Unlimited. I also use Kindle Unlimited. I think while I don't like Amazon and I don't agree with a lot of practices Amazon does, I do understand that Kindle Unlimited is great for people like myself that read a ton. And this is probably one of like the cheaper ways that I can read a lot of books. It's cheaper than me buying Kindle ebooks outright. It's not the greatest for the authors for this service, but I feel like it is still a great service for readers. So I think it's important to utilize it. And especially if you're a huge reader like I am, just kind of like stick it to the on kind of thing. So this version, like I said, I can make more versions of this if this is something that you all like, is focused solely on contemporary romances that are in Kindle Unlimited. So before we get to those recs, if you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and also subscribe if you haven't already. I post videos every Thursday and Sunday, so make sure you're hitting that notification bell to be notified when I post new videos. I'm also trying my best to remember to post shorts, at least one a week. I'm working on that to make sure that I stay consistent with posting at least one short a week as well. And also, before we get to these recs, make sure you're leaving a comment down below with one, if you like this and want it to become a series, and what other genres of romance you would want me to do, like fantasy romance, monster romance, dark romance, sports romance, I don't know, etc. What would you all like to see? And then I can try to make a video with recommendations for you, focused solely on Kindle Unlimited recs. And also, what are some of your book recommendations for contemporary romance that are in the Kindle Unlimited umbrella? Help us all out. So most of these is not going to be like just one book per se. Some of them, it's just going to be authors to check out. Some of them are going to be series. And all of these are like diehard favorites of mine. I love all of these. So first up is Kennedy Ryan. Most books from Kennedy Ryan are in Kindle Unlimited. Not all of them. I believe her newest book that came out, Can't Get Enough. I had to look in my new book pile for what the title is. That one is not in Kindle Unlimited yet. And some of that is dictated because now Kennedy Ryan has been picked up by a traditional publisher. So some of that is the traditional publisher dictating that and saying if the rights are going to be in Kindle Unlimited or not. You will also find a lot of times some books will come in and out of Kindle Unlimited, just kind of depending on either the author or, again, the publisher. Usually, if a book is in Kindle Unlimited, then that author cannot have ebooks in other platforms. That is the only place that consumers can get those ebooks, because the right is with Kindle. Whereas like some authors choose to not put their books in Kindle Unlimited simply because they would like their books to be more widespread to other users that don't use Kindle. So people that use like Kobo, ebooks for the like Nook, like Barnes and Noble, I think Apple also has ebooks. There's a ton out there. So sorry to get sidetracked a little bit from the Kennedy Ryan, but I kind of wanted to explain some of the things with Kindle Unlimited and why sometimes you might see an author with a book in Kindle Unlimited and then it like goes away. So Kennedy Ryan is one of those. I believe this second book of this series is currently in Kindle Unlimited. Which one is that one? I don't remember. It's Soledad. I'm probably saying that horribly wrong. I apologize. But that one is currently in Kindle Unlimited, whereas before it was not. So you just kind of have to like get on it when you can. So this series, the Skyland series, the first 2 books are in Kindle Unlimited. I adored the first book. This one is a second chance romance between a divorced couple, and they divorced after a great tragedy happened. So both of them are dealing with depression and mental health issues, but they still have to co-parent together, and they co-own a business together. So they have to keep running into each other and being civil with one another. And then in doing so, in this book, the flames are still alive, and they realize that they might want to continue being together. Kenny Ryan also has the Hoop series, is also in Kindle Unlimited. That's a basketball romance series. Also, the first book is one of my favorite books of all time. And then she also has the Grip trilogy is in Kindle Unlimited. And I believe this one actually has one that's like an omnibus of the 3 books. There's a prequel novella and then 2 books, 2 like full-length novels that you can just check out that one full omnibus by itself. So if that might be a really great option if you're someone like also like me that likes to have like the max amount of books checked out from Kindle Unlimited that you possibly can, and then you want to read the series too, so you can get the full series. That one is a like a musician romance. Like he is a rapper and she is his like band manager, and they've been friends for a really long time, and they have a romance, and it's that's another one that's one of my all-time favorites. Kenny Ryan is a wonderful author. She writes about very like real and authentic characters. And it's just so beautiful, especially all the conversations that she has. Several of her books are tearjerkers, so just kind of know that going into it. Then we have Morgan Elizabeth is an indie author, and I believe one of her series has gotten picked up for traditional publishing. So that's fantastic. I adore this author. She writes all of her books are like pink themed. I think she's trying to get all of them that way. And I adore it. I love it so much. One of my favorites is Passenger Princess. And I believe this is the first book of the Evergreen Park series. All of the books in this series are wonderful. I love them so much. They are about a friend group. And in the first book, one of the friends, she decides to run for a Miss America-esque pageant so that she can try to help platform small-owned businesses owned by women, because both of her best friends are business owners and their businesses are struggling. So she wants to bring more light to these businesses to help them succeed. So she ends up winning, surprisingly, even though she's never been in a beauty pageant ever. And in this story is about her and her bodyguard as she is touring across America and touring different women's small businesses to highlight. And it's Grumpy Sunshine. We have that forced proximity in here. Morgan Elizabeth writes the best book boyfriends. I have loved every single one of the male main characters that she has written because they are so, number one, they're sexy. They know how to please their women, but they're also very sweet and they put their women first. And I love it. It's just, she is a fantastic author and I will never not recommend her. Then we have the Nashville Neighborhood series by Nikki Sloan. Nikki Sloan is an author that her books will jump in and out pretty often. Currently, the Nashville Neighborhood series is in Kindle Unlimited, but it has in the past not been in Kindle Unlimited. She also has another series. And I'm not going to remember the name of it, but it's like the first book is The Initiation, and then like The Obsession. That series is in Kindle Unlimited, but her 3 Simple Rules series is not. And I don't remember if that series has ever been in Kindle Unlimited. I don't know. Anyway, Nashville Neighborhood series. This one is about just this neighborhood in Nashville and all of the kinky stuff that these neighbors get up to. These are some of the hottest books that I have ever read. They're very high steam. All of these are like standalone, so you don't necessarily have to read these in any certain order, but if you do read it in the publication order, you'll kind of see the progression because some of the couples will pop up in other books. So if you don't really want spoilers for those couples, then you might want to read it in order. Otherwise, read whichever one sounds interesting to you. There's lots of different tropes in here. Several of these feature BDSM. It's very spicy, very fun times. The first book is an ex's dad romance. I believe the second book, which one is the second book? I can never remember if the second book is The Architect or if the second book is The Pool Boy. But there's The Architect. That one is a MFM romance with the female character like ends up house sitting for a neighbor, and she finds out that her neighbor likes BDSM. And The Pool Boy is a reverse age gap, so it's an older woman, younger man one. And I'm trying to think what else there is. There's The Frat Boy, which is about two college rivals. It's great, great fun times. And the audiobooks are great on these as well. Then we have the Daddy Issue series by Cleo White. This is a series of novellas. And again, this is about two of the female characters in the series are sisters, and then the other female character is their best friend. All of these feature age gaps, which I love. All of these are super spicy. They can be a little bit insta-love, insta-lust, but I enjoyed the heck out of reading these. And they're novellas, so they're super quick. I believe most of Cleo White's, if not all of Cleo White's books, are in Kindle Unlimited as well. And age gap is kind of like a recurring theme that she has in her books. So there's more from her that I definitely want to read. I just haven't yet. So this one is fantastic. They also kind of feature around like holidays. So like the first one is around Christmas. The second one is around Valentine's Day. And I don't remember if the third one has a holiday specific focus with it, but they're wonderful. I enjoyed them. Sarah Kate is another author that you definitely should check out. I believe all of her books are in Kindle Unlimited, if I'm not mistaken. There's so many great ones to choose from with her. Salacious Players Club series would probably be the one that I would say to start out with. That one is very high steam. It centers around the owners of a sex club. So lots of spice in these, BDSM, lots of different like trope dynamics and kinks in here as well. So like the first one is another ex's dad romance, and she is his kind of his like assistant slash secretary. And then she tells him that she wants to be his submissive. Super great. I love this series. The Good Brothers series is also another fantastic one that focuses around four brothers, and their father is a preacher, but he has kind of fallen from grace, and there's a lot of things that come to light that he is not necessarily the pious man that his family revered him as, and the township that they live in revered him as. So we're kind of dealing with like the fallout, like the sons are dealing with the fallout and how they want to explore that. So that's another great series. Free Fall and Gravity are another great ones. Just she has so many that are wonderful that I would recommend. So if you've never tried out a Sarah Kate book before and you have Kindle Unlimited, that's a great way to try her out and see what you think of her books. I love her. Then we have Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. This, I believe, is Danielle Allen's first traditionally published book. And most of her books are also in Kindle Unlimited. I have not read a ton of other books from her, but I do want to because I really enjoyed this one. This is the first of a series. And in this one, our female main character is basically told that her like biological clock is ticking and she's going to have a birthday, and her family's like, okay, when are you going to get married now, because you're getting old. And that she's very secure in herself. But hearing that didn't make her feel really good. So she decides to try to online date and try to find somebody to take with her to the birthday party to kind of prove her family wrong. And she ends up having some not great dates. And she always takes them to this bar that is across the street from where she lives. And so the bartender at this bar kind of, they have conversation and they start to like each other and they form this friendship of sorts. And he kind of looks out for her while she's on these different dates. And he's like, you need to have somebody that has your back just in case something goes wrong. And that's what he provides for her until they realize that they want more together. And it's so good. I can't wait to read more from the series. Then we have The Man I Know by Daisy Jane. This one is such a unique story. And this is another author, Daisy Jane. I believe all of her books are in Kindle Unlimited. So Daisy Jane writes, another author that writes lots of high steam and kinky kind of stories. So this one is actually a romance about a married couple that from the beginning, they are very much in love. They've been married for years. They have a child together. I think it's just one child. And they are still like very much infatuated with one another until the wife stumbles across something one day and stumbles across her husband doing something that kind of surprised her and made her realize that he is into kink and he has been suppressing his desires the entire time that they've been together because he has been worried about what she would think of him, and also because his desires, his like kink, is more degradation, and he is worried that if he makes this known, that she's going to think that he doesn't respect her and he doesn't love her. So she decides to they have conversation about it and they decide to explore his kinks together. And I just thought that was such a unique premise for a story, is that they're already together and they're just exploring new things together and re-solidifying their bond together. It's such a great story. This one also has great conversations about do's and don'ts with kink. So they learn a lot of lessons in this one, to say the least. Then I have You and Me by Tal Bauer. This is one of my favorite romances of all time. I adore this story so much. This is a male-male romance. And this one, it doesn't start out as a romance. The romance is very slow to build up. Our two main characters, they start off as friends because one of our main characters, his wife has passed away and his son was closer with his wife, and he feels like him and his son are strangers even though they live in the same house. His son is in high school. His son has tried out for football and made the team. So he ends up going to a game because he's just wanting to try to find a way to talk with his son again and rebuild his relationship with his son. So he ends up running into our other male character of the story, whose son is best friends with our first male character's son. So he tells him, hey, why don't you volunteer with the parents that help set up for all the games, that allows you to have more time with your son. And so him and this other man strike up a friendship, and that, again, it slowly turns into a romance. And it's one of the sweetest and most beautiful romances that I have ever read. It's such a good, a soul deep love between these two characters. And it's fantastic. You have to read this. And then the last book that I have to recommend for contemporary romances that are in Kindle Unlimited is Hold Me While You Wait by Kimberly Brown. This is a standalone romance. These two characters are both single parents. Our female main character, she is a badass boss bitch, and I love her. And both of these characters end up becoming in orbit with one another and learning more about each other because their daughters end up becoming instant best friends when one of them gets bullied by somebody else. So then one of the kids ends up standing up for her. And so that's how they meet, because they have to go pick their kids up from, I think they get like detention or something. And our male main character is just immediately infatuated with our female main character. And it takes a little bit of time that he like wears her down and asks her to go on a date with him. He is such a perfect book boyfriend. He makes a bookshelf for her, which we love so much. And I love seeing the dynamic between both of these characters having to be single parents and learning how to have that time for the two of them, but then also trying to respect like the boundaries of their children, and their children's expectations, since their children are best friends as well. And it's such a sweet romance. That's all I can really say about it. It's such a sweet romance. I adored this one, and I really need to read more from Kimberly Brown. I believe Kimberly Brown is another author that most, if not all, of her books are in Kindle Unlimited. So those are my recommendations. Again, make sure you leave a comment down below with some of your recommendations for contemporary romance that is in Kindle Unlimited. And also, again, let me know if you like this and if you want me to turn this into a series where I can give you more recommendations for books that are specifically in Kindle Unlimited. Again, thumbs up if you like this video, hit all the buttons, subscribe, do all the things, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.